You can tell more about a motorcycle owner by looking at his garage than by looking at his bike. Some garages are built for riding, some are built for showing off, some are built from whatever was on sale at Harbor Freight, and some accidentally tell the whole story before the owner even says a word. The funny part? Most riders have no idea which one they're in. The showroom garage. The floor is epoxy coated. The tool chest is a snap-on rollaway that cost more than some of these bikes did new. Matching the wall paint, matching the bike stand, matching absolutely nothing about how motorcycles actually get used. The bike sits on a lift under a cover, indoors, in a garage that has never once let rain touch that fuel tank. This is not a garage. This is a museum with a $200 electric bill. The stereotype says this owner takes better care of his bike than anyone on the block. And mechanically, it does look perfect. Chrome untouched. Paint like the day it left the showroom. 0 miles of road grime anywhere near it. The truth is a little uglier. Oil still breaks down sitting in a crankcase whether the bike moves or not. Rubber seals dry out from age, not mileage. A battery left on a shelf without a real maintainer, a battery tender or a Noco genius, loses charge and sulfates the plates within weeks. Fuel left sitting more than a month starts breaking down and gumming up injectors or carburetor jets long before the paint ever fades. The twist is that this owner built a shrine to a machine he is terrified to actually use. Every scratch feels like a betrayal. Every mile feels like depreciation. The fix is not complicated. Ride the bike. A motorcycle maintained for use outlasts a motorcycle maintained for display. Every single time. You did not build a garage. You built a glass case, and you put the one thing that was supposed to set you free right in the middle of it. The milk crate fix, $47. That is what a basic Craftsman torque wrench costs, and it is the one tool missing from this garage every single time. Here the sockets live loose in a Harbor Freight bucket. The oil filter wrench is a pair of channel locks and a prayer. Bolts get tightened by feel, which really means tightened until the owner gets tired of turning the ratchet. This garage gets the job done, technically, but over-tightened drain plugs strip threads. Under-tightened axle nuts walk loose at speed. Fasteners with a real torque spec exist because a bike shakes itself apart differently than a car does, and guessing has a failure mode that shows up on the highway, not in the driveway. This story always ends the same way. The rider swears the bike has never let him down. Right up until the morning, a rear axle nut backs off half a turn on a back road, and the whole conversation changes. You are not lazy. You are improvising with what is on hand, which honestly takes more creativity than buying the matching set. Just buy the torque wrench. It costs less than one bad guess. Trickle charger graveyard. 3 batteries are dead in this garage before you even open the door. Not because anyone forgot about them, because there are 4 motorcycles parked in a 2-car space, and only one of them actually gets ridden. The stereotype says this rider is a collector. He is not collecting, he is accumulating. The project bike from a friend who needed cash. The one his father used to ride. The good deal that would have been a shame to pass up. Every single one wears a cover and sits under a web of battery tender junior cables running to a power strip that was never rated for this many amps. The truth is that sitting is worse for a motorcycle than most owners think. Tires develop flat spots from the weight sitting in one place for months. Fork seals dry out and start weeping. Carburetor float bowls varnish shut with old fuel, which turns a 15-minute Saturday ride into a full carb rebuild before the bike will even hold an idle. Brake fluid pulls moisture from the air over time and starts corroding lines and calipers from the inside, whether the lever gets touched or not. The twist nobody wants to hear is that the trickle charger keeps the battery alive and does nothing for the tires, the seals, the fuel, or the brakes. It is not maintenance. It is a green light lying to you about the other 3 problems. Pick one. Sell the rest before the sitting decides their value for you. If you just pictured one of your own bikes sitting under a cover in that description, hit like before you go start it up out of guilt. I put one of these out every week, so subscribe if you want the next one aimed a little closer to home. The man cave. Let me tell you why this one drives me crazy. The garage does not have a workbench. It has a bar. It does not have a tool wall. It has a flag, a fridge, and 3 stools nobody sits on to actually work. The bike lives in here the way a jukebox lives in a diner. It is decoration with an engine. Buddies come over, admire the paint, maybe sit on it in the driveway for a photo, and nobody has checked the tire pressure since the bike rolled off the truck. The stereotype says this owner does not care about the bike. That is wrong, and it is also the whole problem. He genuinely believes the bike is fine because it looks fine. Tires can lose a pound or 2 of pressure a month just sitting there, and a rider who has not touched a gauge in 6 months is riding on numbers he is only guessing at. Chains stretch and dry out from neglect just as fast as they do from mileage. Coolant loses its corrosion protection over time, even when the level never drops. The truth is, the bike stopped being the point a long time ago. The point became the garage, the friends, the fridge, and the bike is just the reason everyone has an excuse to stand around it. Ask the owner when he last checked chain slack and watch what happens. There is a pause. There is a joke. There is a promise to get to it this weekend, which is the same promise that got made 3 weekends ago. A loose chain does not announce itself quietly. It announces itself as a chain coming off a sprocket at speed, and that is not a story anyone wants to be the center of. Check the tires before you check the score. That one costs nothing and takes 90 seconds. Tarp-and-a-prayer. This owner is not careless. He genuinely cannot afford a garage, and that is a real problem for a lot of people right now, not a character flaw. So the bike lives under a carport, or house, wrapped in a $30 big box store cover trying to do a much bigger job than it was built for. Covers trap moisture as often as they block it. A cheap cover with no breathable lining will hold condensation against chrome and paint overnight, which is exactly the environment that starts surface rust on exhaust pipes, fork tubes, and exposed fasteners. Rain finding its way past a poorly fitted cover soaks into a seat and never fully dries, which is how foam padding starts smelling like a gym bag from the inside out. The fix here is not a 2-car garage. It is a real breathable cover, a Dowco or a Nelson rig, properly fitted, with the vents actually left open instead of zipped shut to block a draft that was never the real threat. A $20 difference in cover quality is the difference between a bike that ages slowly and one that ages like it spent a decade outside. There is a second fix that costs nothing. Park facing a different direction every few weeks so the same panel is not baking under sun or catching the same runoff every time it rains. Wipe the bike down before covering it, not after, because sealing dust and road grime under a tight cover is how a light film of dirt turns into fine scratches across the tank over a few months. You are doing your best with what you have got. Just make sure what you have got is actually working for the bike, not quietly working against it. The inherited toolbox. You already know this garage. It smells like motor oil and cut grass, and half the tools in it were old before you were born. The wrenches are a 50-year-old Craftsman set that has not been complete since the Reagan administration. The bike stand was welded by somebody's uncle. There is a coffee can full of miscellaneous bolts that nobody has ever needed, and nobody will ever throw away. This rider learned on a carbureted bike and never fully trusted anything that came after it. He can set points and gap plugs from memory, but he still eyes a modern fuel-injected motorcycle's diagnostic port like it is trying to sell him something. In my experience, this is where good mechanics get themselves in trouble. Older tools built before modern torque specs mattered as much can still handle most jobs on an older bike just fine. But a lot of newer motorcycles need specific tools their fathers never owned. Chain alignment tools, sealed bearing pullers, a basic OBD scanner for the ECU. Skipping those because the old set has always worked is how a good mechanic ends up forcing the wrong fix onto the wrong bike. Respect the old toolbox. It taught you real skills a lot of younger riders skip straight past. Just do not let pride in it talk you out of buying the one tool the new bike actually needs. Sunday only wrench. You can smell this garage before you see it. Fresh chain lube, a little exhaust still cooling, and nothing else, because nothing else in here gets touched during the week. This owner treats the garage like a pit stop, not a workshop. Saturday morning, quick wipe down, chain gets a spray of Motul or whatever is on the shelf, tires get eyeballed, and the bike is out the door by 9. Monday through Friday, the garage might as well be locked. The problem is not the ritual. The problem is what only gets checked once a week, never catches the small stuff early. A slow oil weep from a gasket, a brake light that flickers under bumps, a tire wearing unevenly on one edge. These show up between rides, not during the 5-minute Saturday check, and they get missed until they turn into a roadside problem instead of a driveway fix. Ask this rider when he last actually put a gauge on his tires instead of eyeballing them, and you will get the same pause you get from the man cave crowd. The difference is, this guy at least shows up on Saturday. The working bay. Somewhere between $400 and $600. That is roughly what separates a garage that actually protects a motorcycle from one that just stores it. Once you count a real stand, a battery tender, a proper cover, and a torque wrench that has actually been calibrated. This garage is not the cleanest one on this list, and it is not the most impressive one either. The floor has oil stains that never fully came out. The tool wall has gaps where things are actually in use instead of hanging for show. But everything in reach gets used, and everything that gets used gets put back close to where it belongs. I see this all the time in the good shops. This rider does not treat maintenance as an event. He treats it as a habit that happens in small doses. A chain check here, a tire pressure check there, an oil change on schedule instead of when the bike starts complaining. He keeps a service log, even if it is just notes in his phone, because guessing when the last oil change happened is how riders end up guessing wrong. This is the garage that produces the fewest breakdowns and the highest resale value, and almost nobody films it for social media because it does not look like anything special. If your garage looks anything like this one, you are probably the rider everyone else in your group calls before a long trip, whether they admit it or not. The garage always tells the truth, even when the rider does not. Drop the honest answer in the comments. Which one is actually yours, and what tool you know you are missing?